I already started.
You did? Oh. Okay. Oh. This is Cassville High School art room. We are in Art 2D, and we're doing the very beginning project, which is drawing cardboard boxes, which you see on the table. Okay, so basically it's learning to sketch, so we're just going to draw these things real fast just to get down the idea of a couple of different things. Number one, doing lines. Number two, doing them three-dimensional. And then we'll get further into doing drawings such as adding some shading and whatnot and using different media. So the media we're going to use today is some sketch paper, which will be like a newsprint paper, and then we're just going to use a pencil. You probably use some eraser if you need to erase some lines, but typically in a sketch we won't do any erasing. Okay, so to get that stuff, we're going to walk over here to the edge of this table, and again, this is just a sketching procedure, so we don't need anything special as far as paper and whatnot. Okay, but there's just going to be some newsprint laid out here. So we grab a piece of newsprint, and then for the size of our art classes, I'll just put a pencil bag out, and inside the pencil bag there'll be a few different types of pencils. Okay, and then an eraser is all we'll need. Alright, when you're done and completed with the drawing at the end of the day, we just bring this stuff, the pencil and eraser back over, put it in the bag, and then this paper, I'll assign the students a cubby hole up there, cuddy hole, whichever one you want to call it, and you'll put your artwork up there, so it won't be too bad. Right now, the pencil we're actually using, I'll explain that first. This one here is it's like a drafting pencil, but we'll use them for drawing also. So either way, drafting or drawing. But what this is a HB pencil. So you see here on the very end, on the back side of it, it says HB. All right, and the HB is kind of a medium lead. So this is graphite lead that's inside the pencil, and that's kind of a medium softness of lead. So as you go towards the H, so if we went like a 1H, a 2H, the pencil starts getting harder and the graphite gets harder. As we go to a B, so we go a 1B, 2B, 3B, the graphite gets softer. Okay, so a HB is actually just kind of a middle grade pencil. It'll work great for our sketching we're going to do as far as sketching these boxes. Okay, the newsprint, this is like an 11 by 18 or something like that. And this will work great just for throwing this stuff down on here, because number one, we may or may not keep these sketches. Number two, if we don't want to keep them, we just get rid of the paper, and it's real cheap to work with. Okay? And then of course our pencil, or excuse me, our eraser. The eraser is just it's a rubber eraser, and basically it will allow us, and it's a fairly soft one, so it allows us to take some of the pencil marks away if we have to. In turn, if you don't, as long as you don't push too hard, it won't tear the paper to the cheap newsprint. Okay. All right, and then of course our subject is our boxes, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that I'm like the video camera, and that I'm zooming in on a certain area of the boxes. What I don't want to do is I don't want to draw like I'm 10 feet away. Okay, so when I'm drawing this or sketching this, I'm going to pretend I'm sketching like probably 3 or 4 of these boxes right here. All right, and I'm going to try to sketch these boxes in the shape that I see them. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the shape. When we're looking at a box, and I'll just grab one of these. All right, so when we're looking at a box, we're looking at the lines of the box is all we're looking at. All right, we're not too worried about like the sticker on it. We're not too worried about the tape and how the light's casted over it at this point. Okay, we're just worried about the lines and basically the overall outside areas of line. Okay, so for instance, like this, if we look straight on the box, all right, you see it's just a rectangle or a square. In this case, this one's a rectangle. So these sides are shorter than the top and bottom are, in turn making it a rectangle. All right, but if we take this, and this is considered two-dimensional. Now we're going to be drawing two-dimensional, which is on a piece of paper, but we want to draw this box like it's three-dimensional. So we're kind of working two things: two-dimensional, three-dimensional. But again, drawing this box on the paper as a three-dimensional piece. All right, and again, still drawing, making it two-dimensional. All right, so we're going to take this box, and if we turn it, we've now made it, as the video camera looks at it, we've now made it three-dimensional, so you can see 1, 2, 3 different sides of the box. All right. Biggest thing to remember is when you're looking at lines on a box, they go parallel to each other. And what does parallel mean? Parallel means that the lines can go on and on and on forever, and they never cross. All right. So when we're looking at an angle at this three-dimensionally, if we see this line going back towards this square, remember working in square rectangles, all right, you see these lines going here. Remember when you draw them, they're going parallel. If you're not drawing them parallel, then you're not drawing them correct. Again, these lines parallel. The line here against the bottom line is parallel. The top lines right here are all parallel. Okay? Best part is they're all going off of one point, which would be the corner of the box. All right, so this corner of the box, these lines go this way. These lines go this way. Okay, these lines go this way. And so on and so forth. So we'll be drawing from one point. Alright? Okay. To start off with, if you want to, you just take one of the boxes off the table, set it in front of you, and practice drawing the one box. Alright? In my case, I've done this a while, so we're just going to put this back up here, and we'll practice drawing multiple boxes. Alright, so practice start off doing one box, then put it back up on this on the still life, and then draw multiple boxes. All right, together in the space. Okay, a sketch. So now we'll look at a sketch. So you can bring the camera closer so we can see on the paper. Okay, a sketch is real fast. It's not sitting here taking all kinds of time to get it on paper. We're just going real fast. So a sketch would probably last, if you were to fill maybe a half or a full piece of this paper, will maybe take a maximum of probably 2 to 5 minutes. Okay, so when we're doing this, we're going fast, and we're just getting lines down on paper. Okay, so for instance, if I was to draw a box, and I don't want to sit here in one corner of the paper and draw them real small. Okay, that's not what we're after. We're after covering the whole space or the whole piece of paper. All right, so when I draw a box, I want to get it down on the paper. All right. Okay. Now we drew the square. So we were talking about the box, and the face of it is a rectangle or a square. So we drew like a rectangle or a square. Now we want to make this three-dimensional, seeing 3 sides. Okay. Remember, lines go parallel to each other. All right. So we're starting off on one point here. I'm going to draw the lines going backwards. So you see how that line goes back. Now the line going off the other point away from it, okay, is going to go the same direction because they're parallel. Right? And then the line down on this corner will also go the same direction. And then we just want to take and connect them. Okay, we made a three-dimensional box. Alright, we can make it go the other direction also. So you see here how fast I go, right? Remember, they go parallel to each other. This corner here will go also parallel, and then you connect them. Okay? And we can continue doing this. Now I'm not drawing off my subject up there, I'm just drawing some three-dimensional boxes. So that could be a good spot to also start practice. Alright, now if I wanted this box I just drew in front of the box behind it, obviously I wouldn't see lines coming through the box in front. So that's where my eraser would come in, and I would erase those lines. Okay, and if I erase good enough, it'll then look like this box here is in front of. Okay? Simple enough. So practice drawing three-dimensional boxes. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw 3 boxes on this piece of paper. All right, and I'm going to use the whole entire drawing space. So I'm going to draw like 1, 2, and 3 boxes. All right, and I'm going to draw them just as I see them, like one's laying on top of the other. So, for instance, like this box here, I'll see like one line here, here. And I'll semi see a line going this way and this way, but it's covered up with this box, right? So I won't see a whole lot of it, and I see one at the back. Okay, so again, I'll draw like 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5, 6, maybe 7 lines. 8, probably 8 lines. All right, so I'll start with that box. And again, I'm going fast and sketching. Okay, part of this is proportion. If I draw it too big, it's not going to fit on my paper. If I draw it too small, then it doesn't take up enough of the paper. So you want to think proportionate, right? So I'm thinking if I draw this rectangle right here, kind of about this size, I think I can fit the rest of the boxes on. Like that one will sit up here, and this one's longer, so it should fit in here. Okay? You see here, this line at the bottom all goes straight across, right? So I'm going to go ahead and draw my other rectangle in here. And I also see it, this line here comes up short of the top of this one, right? So I'm going to come off that space approximately. All right, and I see a line here and a line here, so I'm going to draw those in. And I can see the top of the box. Okay, and then it's a rectangle. It's sideways. Okay, so I'm going to draw that in there sideways, and it's up towards the top of the paper. And it goes about halfway to the center of that box, so about halfway. And it comes down onto the top of this box, right? So I'm drawing the line so it comes down on top. Okay, so you see here there's a line I have to erase. So that's why I have the eraser, because that box is in front of the line at the back of that box. Okay, so cover it. And then I see this goes like this. You see my proportion wasn't 100% because it goes off the edge of the paper. We can live with that. Okay, I'm not going to see these in here. Okay. So again, I just sketched those 3 boxes. And that took me approximately a minute or so. Probably a little bit longer than I'd normally want to take. But for the demonstration purpose, it took about a minute to draw. Now you can see when I'm drawing lines, I'm not sitting here and I'm not going like this, right? And I'm not sitting here going like this. Okay, what a sketch is you're drawing a line in fast, and I tend to go over it a couple of times to make a line. So you see that? Okay, and again, the harder you push with the pencil, the darker the line gets. The lighter you push, the lighter it gets. Okay. Okay. Now what'll happen is once we get a little bit of practice in, as far as like drawing, maybe practice drawing boxes, and then practice drawing the still life. What we'll do is we'll do like 1 to 5 minute sketch sessions. So they'll be timed. So you'll be timed for a minute. You'll get down as much of the subject as you can on your piece of paper. Okay, and then we'll slowly increase to 5 minutes, getting more of the subject area into the drawing. Okay, and what that'll do is that'll take you from a real slow kind of wanting to get all detail in drawer to getting it sketched in fast with the amount of detail that we need just as far as designing a sketch.